Any questions, thoughts? Douglas?
Greetings,
Douglas,
John.
it's great to hear your voice. I miss you, my friend.
John doesn't see you. So
Okay, I'll come round. That way, go that way.
you have to go the other way.
So I'm going to pick up on, in part, Father Katsos's worries about an anthropomorphic perspective on the universe. And maybe raise the point that in some sense the tradition of the Logos historically is tied to a theomorphic perspective. That there's a sense in which the human being does have this macrocosmic status, microcosmic status within the macrocosmos. I wonder what I mean, this is sort of pushing you, as it were, in a direction that you hint at from time to time, but with your analysis of Quine and Goodman and Dennett, your sort of often your target are these clearly either philosophers who are pointing in a direction that you're approving of, or those that you think are needlessly reductive. But there does seem to be this theological element to your project. And of course, this notion that there's this theomorphic dimension to the human being is so at odds with so many aspects of our culture, whether it's those that want to say that well, of course, we're just parts of the animal kingdom like any other, with just a few advantages here and there. Or to those who say, well, yes, we're basically machines, and look at what computers do. I mean, clearly I just wonder what you think about this notion of the significance of the Logos in terms of this theomorphic dimension of humanity.
I think that you're exactly right to point it there. Notice I did take time to try to seriously criticize we're just a machine, or we're just an evolution. It's just evolution. I specifically made those targets because I'm trying to open up a space. So Richard Dawkins famously said, the cell is a model of its environment. If you look at the cell, you can find all the patterns and principles of its environment. That's Richard Dawkins. I don't think he understood the ramifications of that. Or you have Carl Friston, the great proponent of predictive processing, which is like this with relevance realization, one of the big frameworks, saying you don't have a model of the environment, you are a model of the environment. This is a very different thing. You're not wielding representations, you're instantiating patterns and processes that couple you to the environment with an adaptive affording fit. And so I think that this view strongly supports a microcosmic, macrocosmic relationship, both horizontally and vertically. And then, and I'm doing this right now, I just wrapped up the first 8 weeks of a course on seeing God again for the first time. When you demolish these lobotomy dichotomies given to us by modernity, the subjective, the objective, fact value. Like, think about Desmond's argument. The fact value dichotomy gives us default atheism. If you adopt the fact value dichotomy, you're committed to a kind of atheism, because you're saying objective reality has no value, subjective beings project it, which is just an illusion, and they have no ontological significance, which of course is a default nihilism, at least. But as you get rid of these dichotomies, analytic, synthetic, is ought, good, you can take a look at case, what those do, and you really return to the phenomenology, which, by the way, I think is really well exemplified by third way Platonism, saying we can actually use Plato to get back into the deep phenomenology of intelligibility. I think you get a pronounced sense of the divine. And I mean, what has been happening to me is a realization that both impersonal and personal ways of having that sense presence of divine are deeply appropriate. They are deeply connective. They give us access to aspects of reality that are otherwise inaccessible. Now, that's a whole other argument, Douglas, and you're welcome to take my course if you'd like. But I do think I do think the primordial to the ultimate that relevance realization coupled to reality realization is capable of, the primordial to the ultimate, right, gives us what binds the truth and the true, the good, and the beautiful. Well, how they are relevant to each other, how they interpenetrate each other, right? And so, right, that gives us a proper access for talking about the sacred, talking about the divine. I think this view is very strongly supportive of that. But what it does is undermine any simplistic anthropomorphic interpretations of that. Because, yes, the cosmos is mind like, but it also means the mind is cosmos like. That you have to bring both of those into your, and that's what saying the mind is embodied and embedded and enacted and extended, and there's deep continuities between cognition and biology means. So, sorry, that's a long answer, Douglas, but your question, as your questions frequently are, was a profound one.
Thank you very much.